help me give a big warm welcome to Mr. Dave Dahl.
It's good to be with you today. As was mentioned earlier, I'm a retiree. Back in the day, my job was working with a team that passed billions of cubic feet of natural gas down to pretty important customers, power plants, communities. I don't do that anymore. I'm sad today. I'm a little anxious today. The reason I'm sad is I'm a big football fan, and football season's almost over. Some of you are sad because of the teams that are playing in the Super Bowl, but after Sunday, it's done. It's kind of a tough deal. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the field, and what my interests are on the field. I told you I'm a little bit anxious, and that is because I'm a University of Utah Ute. I'm hearing a little bit here. We'll see how this goes. I played in the dark ages. 50 years ago, this is what an offensive tackle looked like, or somebody thought an offensive tackle should look like that. The reason I'm a little anxious is every time I get under the shadow of the Y, I think of that place up the field, up the street, where I got my tail handed to me too many times. But let's just take a quick poll. Not the clickers, just your hands. Utes. Cougars. Hey, that's not bad. That's a good balance. Well, when you feel like you might be in hostile territory, you kind of bring a peace token. So I'll add to the hats here, my BYU hat, but you will notice I could not go as far as getting a blue one. This one's black. But anyway, so we got Utes, we got Cougars. Well, what I want to talk about in the field, and one of the things that's always been important to me, is how we come together, no matter what our interests are, in one common interest, and that's making safety a priority as you're out and about doing excavation work out there. I told you I was an offensive tackle. My coaches told me I had two priorities as an offensive tackle. Number one is you got to protect the guy carrying the ball, and number two, you got to be sure the guy carrying the ball can get across the goal line and score. Well, you see an arrow here on an offensive lineman, number 71, and he knows his priority is to do just what I told you my priority was. Well, his success comes when he removes the obstacle in his way, and he's doing a pretty good job, as you can see, getting into this defensive player. You know, when we focus on our priorities, we remove the obstacles in our way, we can knock them out completely. And this guy's going on his back. And when the pass cleared, we reach our goal. And this guy crossed the goal line and scores. If he does it enough, the team is going to win. Well, I told you I had some hard times up here in Lavelle Edwards Stadium. And a lot of that was I lost focus on my priority. And when I do that, the guy with the ball is going to lose ground. We get pretty vulnerable when I'm not doing my job or others on the team are not doing their job. I don't remember my priority, and it's pretty hard to reach our goals. First thing, when we're not doing our job right, is when that ball carrier gets hurt. That's a bad thing to feel, that I was supposed to protect the guy behind me, and he goes down with an injury. If our key players aren't playing, it's pretty hard to have the team win. So, on the field, in the field. You're all working in the field in some way or another. Now, I sleep pretty well at night. I'm retired. I slept pretty well at night, even when I was a manager watching over this high pressure pipeline. The reason I did is because I could trust you. And I could trust you that you're doing the right thing in the field to protect these utilities under the ground. And while you're doing that, you're protecting yourself and each other. Seth showed you a picture of pipelines. I bring this up again. Look at the network of utilities that we have in the state of Utah. Look at all the stuff going on over and above those utilities. It isn't good enough to hope we know where it is, to guess we know where it is, or don't worry about what's down there. It is critical that you know what's below before you go to work. You're all employed by somebody. Most of your employers here have got budgets. They need to make money. They need to make sure they meet budgets, make a profit, whatever. It's about money. The next thing that is important is that when you're doing your jobs, you got to get it done on time. If you're not timely, you're going to lose customers, you're going to create problems, and you're not going to succeed. All of us want stable employment. It's good to be able to have that. And most of our organizations are always continuing to get better or try to get better and grow. We're going to pause for a minute as I submit to you what's important.
Hello.
Hello, my name's Lisa. What's yours?
Zoe.
That is a very nice name. What's your dolly's name?
Bella.
Oh, she's pretty. Now, Zoe, is your mummy home?
She's having a shower. We're going to Nan's for tea.
Henderson? Hello. Is your husband Robert Henderson?
Robbie's at work.
Mrs. Henderson, can we speak to you alone?
Yeah, of course. Is he okay?
Would you mind if we come inside, please?
So what is most important to each of us? The things we do out there have consequences. We all want to do a good job. We want to have a good day at work. We want to reach those goals. We want to go home. Robbie Henderson didn't. When we keep safety as our priority, we'll be able to be home to those most important, and we'll be there safe. Just like these players that we were looking at in the field, you in the field need to focus on top priorities. If you don't, the unexpected, the unintended is going to happen. And when that happens, we lose. So for today, number one, let's get everybody home safe. So, do we know or do we hope we know? I'm going to talk about some consequences here. 3 different states, a few different events where fiber optic line gets cut. Well, nobody on the ground is hurt. But what about the critically ill person calling 911? What about the person that's injured? What about the fire in the home? What about the crime going on? You dial 911, Nothing there. Somebody here thought they knew what was underground. Hundreds of people were impacted. It could have been deadly and maybe was. Overconfidence can be deadly. So do we go out there and say, well, we worked here before, we know what we're doing? Do we say, it's not happened to me before, it is not going to happen to me today? Does that drive our decisions out there? Well, that's assuming. And when we assume, we put ourselves, we put others at risk. It just isn't going to work if we're out there guessing. Outside Cheyenne, Wyoming, 36-inch high-pressure natural gas pipeline gets hit by a bulldozer. See the flames from miles away. The dozer operator is killed. You can see some of these pictures of what it looks like at the site of such an event. Look at this burn area, hundreds of feet around the point where that pipe ruptured. Look at the bright white area where the flames are so hot, it just takes everything away. Looks like the surface of some other planet. So what could have been done here if this operator's still alive and that pipeline's still intact? Well, it's again all about knowing. Today, you've heard already, you will hear over and over again an emphasis on what you're seeing in front of you on your tables. 811. Make notification to Blue Stakes before you dig. We'll talk about the process that will assure that you can get facilities located, you get facilities marked, and you don't need to guess. Now, the world I came from of high pressure pipelines, we gave you an added bonus. You won't work within our right-of-way without having a qualified operator standing by to locate the line, to be able to help you to know the depth, and to protect you and protect those facilities at all costs. You don't have to guess, you can know. So what if this event had happened in an area that is more populated? Look at how things are growing around us here. 1992, here's a 36-inch high-pressure natural gas pipeline. Yeah, you can see the population out there, but it's not around the pipeline. Well, pipeline operation hasn't changed. The pressures going down the pipeline haven't changed. Critical customers downstream of the pipeline haven't changed. But look what's changed around the pipeline. With all of these structures, more people, businesses, roads. Perimeter of impact or radius of impact is a term that is used in the world of pipeline safety. So for a pipe as big as the one in Wyoming with the pressures running there, we're talking about a radius of 1,000 feet around that point of impact where catastrophic things are going to happen. Well, the red circle tells you the story of the homes, the individuals that maybe won't even survive from such event. We got to know. Shifting gears, a couple of employees working on boring equipment get into a high voltage electrical line. One of those employees is electrocuted and dies. Well, if it's not a fatality, it's not a Band-Aid thing either. Things can happen out there that will change your life forever. And remember, there's always a consequence. It's hard to be perfect. We're all human. But can we accept anything less than perfection when we're out there working together and trying to stay safe? So, just again, hope it's okay. I think it's okay. Never make a decision that you're not qualified to make, that you don't have all the information you need to make. I'm taking to Bellingham, Washington, many years ago. An operator, he actually hits this steel gasoline pipe. It didn't break, no big deal. Cover it up, didn't report it, go back home, another day on the job. Well, steel pipe has coating. Coating compromised allows corrosion. Corrosion creates pipeline failure. So 5 years later, that pipe gives way. Thousands of gallons of gasoline spilling everywhere around Bellingham. The bad thing gets worse when there's an ignition and you've got a ball of flame running 1.5 miles down one of these creeks. 2 little boys playing on the creek side, burned to death. Young man fly fishing, not expecting what killed him. Tragic results. If safety is your top priority, what would you do in a situation like this? Well, I'll tell you what is expected. And that is, if you are ever in a situation that you find utilities you didn't expect, get a hold of that operator immediately. And let them get on site with you to make sure nothing has happened. If you got any question about safety at that point, be sure you call 911. Now listen to this. If any of you are sitting here listening to this and thinking, wow, I remember that time back when we weren't sure. If you can think of a time, I don't care how far back it was, that you can contact an operator, take them to a location, and have them excavate and make sure those facilities are okay, or if they're not, get them repaired, please do that. It is never too late to make that notification. The other thing I'd urge you to do is if you see something that's unusual, you maybe heard the term, if you see something, say something. Yeah, if it doesn't look right, get a hold of the operator. Use the emergency numbers Seth has just talked to you about. You know, sometimes in the field it just is too simple. I mean, yeah, I'm talking here about don't do things you're not qualified to do. But it's not your equipment and it's not your expertise. Just don't go there. So here's a guy working by an excavation where there's low pressure natural gas service, 1/2-inch connector. He sees it's leaking. Well, no big deal. I can handle that. Got a lot of other things going on, so I'll get in the ditch. Well, the static of his clothing brushing against that sidewall creates a spark, ignites the gas, and he's burned to death. A simple fix. Just read this. Yeah, somebody died, but how would you like to be one of those coworkers on the ditch bank? Nothing you can do. You know, if you find a problem, no matter how small, and there's energy releasing, get a hold of 911 immediately. Get the area evacuated, get yourself back and safe, and let those that are qualified come and take care of the problem. And do it safely. If we don't just take the time necessary to know the situation we're in. We're at risk. And nothing is so urgent that we don't pause and look and be sure. This is a sad situation that occurred some time ago. What you're looking at here is a natural gas meter building. It has horizontal pipe running through. This is measurement equipment to keep track of how much volume is moving down the pipe. End of the day, a few people have been working in this building. They walk out, one of the workers hears gas blowing. He immediately goes in. You see where I say confined space? Well, that blowing gas is not poisonous, but it displaces breathable air. He suffocates, goes to the ground. Another employee sees his coworker down, goes in immediately to recover him. The conditions have not changed in that confined space. He suffocates, he falls over the pipe where there's absolutely no air, suffocates and dies. First employee in, never works again due to brain damage. Why does safety slip from a top priority? Too busy? Too tired? Again, it's not going to happen to me. It never has. Well, wait, look, this was an emergency. We had a man down. You got to go. That's a hard one. But please, in a situation like that, you still got to know. You got to remember that priority. People down on this one because the conditions obviously weren't safe for the first guy and for the second who died. You just couldn't go. You just got to take time, folks, to know. So let's summarize how we can keep safety as a priority. Always be sure you're aware of the conditions. Assess the safety of what you're about to do. Don't act until you know you're safe. And if you need to, call 911. If there's any doubt, call 911. Meeting a deadline never justifies shortcuts. When we fail to make safety a priority, the issues we're trying to avoid can immediately become problems. Accidents, no matter how big they are, they're going to cost money, they're going to create delays. No one here wants to be in the background of the 6 o'clock news when your company's featured for a bad event. And most importantly, the lives, your lives, fellow employees, the community, they can be harmed. So when we commit completely to make safety our top priority, there are better outcomes. This little boy's name's Eddie. Just like Zoe in the video, he ran to the door. Happier day for Eddie. His dad had safety as a priority, and he's home, safe. I sleep well at night. You can sleep well at night with all of this stuff running underground. And the public can sleep well at night when safety is your priority. Okay, on the field, whether you like the Bengals, the Rams, neither, whatever, let them take care of what's going on in the field. But if safety is our joint priority, Utes, Cougars, I don't care. If we are together working on this, we're all going to go home. We're going to go home safe, and we're going to go home winners. They're important people. They're counting on us.